Hi friends, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. If you love feeling calm and cozy in your home, this video is made just for you. Today, I'll be sharing some of my favorite cleaning secrets, simple, realistic tricks that can completely change how your home feels. But let me ask you something. Do you ever look around your place and feel like no matter how much you clean it, never truly looks tidy? Or maybe your home just feels smaller and more stressful each week, even though you haven't added anything new. Trust me, I've been there. Between work, family, and life, it can feel impossible to keep everything in order. That's why I made this video to show you that keeping your home clean and peaceful doesn't have to be overwhelming or expensive. These are small, proven habits anyone can do even on busy days, and they'll save you time, money, and mental energy. I've personally tried every tip I'll share today, and honestly, they've transformed my space and my mood. My home feels lighter, calmer, and so much easier to manage. So stay with me till the end, and don't forget to subscribe for more cleaning rules and decluttering secrets that truly work. Let's make your home a place that feels peaceful every single day. Let's start with one of my favorite transformations, the floor clearing rule. Lift it up. I used to think that my apartment was too small to ever feel spacious. But the truth is, it wasn't the space that was small. It was the clutter that was taking over my floors. Once I started lifting things off the ground, everything changed. Now I live by a simple rule. If it can be hung, it shouldn't be on the floor. I began with the obvious, my broom and mop. They used to lean awkwardly in a corner, collecting dust, sometimes even falling over with a loud crash. So I bought a few adhesive hooks and placed them behind the kitchen door. Suddenly, not only was my floor clearer, but cleaning also became easier and faster. Then I moved on to the hallway. I added wall hooks for umbrellas, helmets, and reusable shopping bags. It's amazing how these small changes made my space feel lighter and more welcoming. Even my guests noticed, "Your home feels bigger," they said, though I hadn't added a single inch of space. In my bedroom, I found that hanging my tote bags and backpacks behind the door saved me precious closet space. It also kept the room from looking messy, especially on busy weekdays when I'm rushing out the door. Here's the truth I've learned: when your floor is clear, your mind feels clearer too. There's a sense of calm that comes from not tripping over things or seeing clutter in your peripheral vision. Every time I sweep the floor now, it takes me just a few minutes, and it feels like I'm sweeping away stress, not just dust. Keeping things off the floor isn't just about tidiness. It's about creating breathing room for both your home and your mind. So if you enjoyed these little transformations, you'll love what's coming next. Tomorrow's video dives into real decluttering techniques that truly make a difference. It's full of practical, life-changing tips that anyone can use. Don't miss it. Your future clutter-free self will thank you. Once your floors are clear, you start to see your space differently. But true calm doesn't come from what's on display. It begins with what you choose to let go of. Let's talk about the step that truly changes everything: decluttering before organizing. There was a time when I thought organization meant buying more boxes, shelves, and baskets. I'd walk through home decor stores feeling inspired. Surely a few pretty containers could solve my mess, right? But the truth is, I wasn't organizing. I was just rearranging my clutter. The real change only began when I decided to declutter first. I started with my closet, that endless mountain of maybe someday clothes. Some didn't fit, some were worn out, and others just didn't feel like me anymore. One weekend, I pulled everything out piece by piece and asked myself, would I wear this tomorrow? If the answer was no, it went into the donation pile. When I put the remaining clothes back folded neatly, something surprising happened. I realized I didn't need that extra wardrobe I had been planning to buy. I already had enough space. I just had too much stuff. The same principle applied to my kitchen. Before buying more storage containers, I decided to clear out expired sauces, duplicate utensils, and those random lids that belonged to nothing. It felt liberating. For the first time in years, my kitchen drawers could actually close smoothly. I even found a few forgotten ingredients that reignited my love for cooking. Decluttering first isn't just about physical space, it's about clarity. When you clear away the unnecessary, you see what truly serves you. And once the excess is gone, you can live in the space for a few days before deciding if you really need that new shelf or box. Most of the time, you'll realize you don't. Now, before I buy any storage solution, I pause and ask, do I need more space or fewer things? That one question has saved me money, time, and countless hours of cleaning. Because when we let go of the unnecessary, we make room for peace, not just tidiness. After clearing away the excess, your home begins to breathe again. But sometimes even the tiniest details like messy cables can steal that peace back. Next, let's talk about a sneaky source of stress in many homes. Taming the cable chaos. You know the one, a tangled mess of cables, chargers, and blinking devices that somehow multiply overnight. I used to dread looking at that corner on my desk. No matter how clean the rest of my room was, those messy wires made it feel cluttered and stressful. One day I decided enough was enough. It was time to give my chargers a home. The first step was letting go of all the just-in-case cables I had collected over the years, old phone chargers, frayed wires, random USB cords that didn't seem to fit anything anymore. I sorted through everything, kept only the ones I used daily for my phone, laptop, and earbuds, and placed the rest into a small labeled box marked spare cables. Instantly, I felt lighter. Next, I tackled the cable jungle under my desk. I used a few simple tricks, rubber bands, paper tape, and some reusable cable ties to neatly bundle the cords. No more tripping over loose wires or dust gathering behind furniture. It looked clean, safe, and surprisingly satisfying. Finally, I created what I now call my charging station. I picked a quiet corner of my study desk near an outlet, used an old shoebox with a few holes cut at the back for cables, and hid the chargers inside. It's amazing how this tiny setup transformed not just the look of my room, but also how I felt. No more searching for missing chargers, no more messy wires on every surface. Everything has its place, and it stays there. Keeping your cables organized isn't just about aesthetics, it's about peace of mind. A tidy tech space keeps your devices safe, your home dust-free, and your mind calmer. Sometimes it's these small, thoughtful corners that make a home feel truly cared for. When your workspace and cables are under control, your surroundings start to feel calmer. But what about that one drawer we all dread opening? Now we're getting to that spot we all secretly avoid: cleaning your junk drawer. I used to have a drawer that I was secretly afraid to open. You probably know the one, the junk drawer. It was the place where every lost battery, random key, and half-broken pen ended up. Over time, it became a little graveyard of forgotten things, and honestly, every time I opened it, I felt a tiny wave of stress. It's funny how something as small as a messy drawer can make your whole space feel heavier. One day I decided to face it. I told myself, if I can't control this one drawer, how can I expect the rest of my home to feel peaceful? So I set a rule: that drawer would no longer be a dumping ground. It would become a small, organized space with purpose. I started by limiting the space. Inside the drawer, I placed a small box and called it the home for everything random. Anything that didn't fit inside had to go. It was surprisingly freeing. When the box was full, I knew it was time to let go of old items before adding new ones. Then I grabbed some old cereal boxes and a metal cookie tin to create little dividers. I separated items like spare batteries, paper clips, and charging cords. It looked simple, yet it felt so satisfying, neat, clear, and functional. Since then, I've made it a weekly ritual. Every Sunday evening, I spend just 2 minutes clearing the drawer. I throw away expired receipts, dried pens, and those mysterious screws that don't seem to belong anywhere. It's a small act, but it keeps my mind calm and my home in order. Here's what I've learned: clutter isn't just physical, it's emotional. Every messy corner holds tiny decisions we've postponed. But once you bring order to even one small drawer, you start to feel control returning, not just to your home, but to your life. It's amazing how something as small as one organized drawer can shift your whole mood. And once you start feeling that sense of order, you'll want it everywhere, even at the very first spot you see when you walk in. Next up, let's bring calm right to the place where your day begins and ends, hooks by the door. The entryway is the first thing you see when you come home, and the last thing you see before you leave. For a long time, mine looked like a mini disaster zone, coats tossed on chairs, bags piled on the floor, and keys that always seemed to disappear right when I needed them most. It wasn't just messy, it felt like my home was greeting me with chaos instead of calm. One weekend, I decided to fix that. I installed a few simple wall hooks right by the door. Nothing fancy, just adhesive ones at first. I hung my everyday bag, a light jacket, and my keys there. Suddenly, it felt like I'd created a little welcome corner for myself. The change was small, but every time I came home, it made me smile. Everything had its place, and leaving the house in the morning became smoother too. No more frantic searching for missing items. Then I added a small tray under the hooks to hold mail bills or small things that tend to scatter around. It turned out to be the perfect catch-all spot for items that used to clutter the table. I even placed a tiny potted plant next to it, a simple touch that made the space feel alive and inviting. It's amazing how something as simple as adding a few hooks can completely shift the mood of your home. A tidy entryway doesn't just keep things organized. It sets the tone for the rest of your living space, calm, thoughtful, and intentional. Because when your doorway feels peaceful, coming home feels like a deep breath after a long day. A tidy entryway sets the tone for a peaceful home. But keeping the calm going means seeing what you have clearly, literally. Now let's shed some light literally with the clear container rule. For years, I used random, opaque containers for pantry items and small supplies. It seemed fine at first, but over time I realized I was constantly reopening boxes, forgetting what I had, and buying duplicates of things already hidden somewhere in the back. It wasn't just inefficient, it made daily tasks feel heavier than they needed to be. Then I discovered the magic of transparent containers. I started with a few simple glass jars and clear plastic boxes I already had. One afternoon, I poured my rice beans and pasta into them, and suddenly my shelves looked brighter, cleaner, and more organized. I could see everything at a glance. It wasn't about perfection. It was about visibility. The clearer my shelves looked, the lighter my mind felt. This little change saved me time and money, too. No more buying another pack of lentils because I couldn't remember if I had any. No more opening 5 different containers just to find the snacks I wanted. Even my spice drawer became a joy to use, each jar labeled and see-through, making cooking feel smoother and more mindful. What surprised me most was how this habit carried into other parts of my home. I began using transparent boxes for screws, craft supplies, and even makeup. Suddenly I could find things instantly. It's funny how such a small, simple switch can bring so much clarity, not only to your shelves, but also to your daily rhythm. When everything's visible, life gets simpler. But what about the everyday items that never seem to stay put? Remotes, chargers, and little things that wander. Up next, a small but powerful habit that changed my cleaning routine forever. The basket trick. I realized the problem wasn't the mess itself, but the movement of everyday things. The remote control on the sofa, the charger on the table, a magazine half read on the floor, little items that seemed harmless, but together they made the whole room look restless. That's when I discovered the beauty of baskets. I started small. One woven basket in the living room to hold the TV remote, chargers, and random odds and ends. Suddenly, everything had a home. At the end of the day, instead of walking around the room trying to remember where things belonged, I just tossed them into the basket, quick, easy, and strangely satisfying. Then I placed a small basket by the front door. It became the drop-off spot for my keys, mail, and face masks. It's funny how something so simple could make my mornings smoother, no more frantic searching before leaving the house. Even guests noticed the change. My home felt calmer, more intentional, as if every item now knew where it belonged. What I love most is how this habit turned cleaning into something light and effortless. I no longer see tidying up as a chore, but as a gentle ritual that keeps my home breathing and my mind clear. So if your space always feels just a little too cluttered, try adding a few baskets in your messy zones. You might be surprised at how much peace a simple container can bring. Finally, let's end right where peace begins. Organizing shoes for a peaceful entryway. Shoes. They're the first thing we take off when we come home, and often the first thing that makes our entryway look messy. I used to line mine by the door thinking it was practical, but the cluttered look always bothered me. It wasn't until I started giving each person's shoes their own space that everything changed, and suddenly my home felt calmer from the moment I walked in. I bought a simple 2-tier shoe rack and small baskets for each family member, one for me, one for my partner, and one for guests. Everyday shoes went on the lower shelves while heels, boots, or rarely used pairs stayed neatly on top. The system looked minimal but worked beautifully. Now when we come home, shoes go straight into their spot, no piles, no searching, no chaos. Every Sunday I take a few minutes to wipe the shoes clean and sweep under the rack. It's such a small habit, yet it keeps the floor spotless and the shoes lasting longer. Sometimes it even feels therapeutic, like I'm not just cleaning my home but also resetting my mind for a new week. If your doorway feels crowded or stressful, start with this: give every pair of shoes a home. Order begins right at your doorstep. And that's it. The 8 simple tricks I follow to keep my home tidy, light, and peaceful. These aren't strict rules or complicated systems. They're gentle rhythms that make cleaning feel effortless. Over time, I've learned to tidy with ease, without pressure, without overwhelm, and I truly believe you can do the same. If you've been wanting to save time on cleaning and free your mind from the constant noise of clutter, start with these steps. Try one small change today, maybe a basket, a hook, or a clear container, and watch how the calm slowly spreads through your home. And if you'd like to go deeper, I've made another video just for you. It's filled with practical, proven techniques that will help you let go of what no longer serves you. You shouldn't skip it. It's full of insights that can transform not only your space, but also your mindset toward simplicity and peace. If this video brought you value, please like, share, and subscribe, because you deserve a home that breathes, supports you, and feels like a gentle exhale at the end of every day.